I'm Goro Yamamoto, and I teach English to undergraduate and graduate students at Hosei University, Japan. My presentation today is investigation of semantic extension of an English vocabulary item in terms of dictionary development. The second slide shows the overview of the presentation. In this presentation, I'm going to focus on a single vocabulary item, which is snowflake. But the content will show you the basic idea of semantic extension, some previous studies, and how extended meanings of a low-frequent word should be researched and presented in a dictionary. I hope the content will give you a good idea of how we, as language teachers, can gain practical knowledge about important vocabulary items for language learners. Before I get into detail, I would like to introduce how we develop an EFL-ESL dictionary in the 21st century. I actually developed and published an English-Japanese dictionary called Wisdom 4th edition in 2019 as an editor and co-writer, so I will use this Wisdom 4th edition as an example. The point is to make the contents of a corpus-based dictionary more competitive. It is important to put in user-oriented signposts, logos, and example sentences or phrases, especially for low-frequent entries. Because in any dictionary, descriptions of high-frequency entries are more or less similar. In Wisdom 4th edition, we developed two different new signposts for dictionary users so that they can quickly look at the entries or examples educationally important to them. One example is what we call daily life signpost, as you can see the example on the slide number 2, and the other is called thesis signpost or academic logo on the slide number 3 to highlight useful words or expressions for academic writing and reading. Along with the introduction of these new logos, we added quite a few new example sentences to make the 4th edition more competitive. As I said, for the purpose of new dictionary development, it is important to enrich the description of important low-frequent entries. One of the aspects we have to be careful about is to what extent we should reflect semantic extension of low-frequency vocabulary items. Now, I would like to talk about semantic extension. Meanings of vocabulary items can expand or develop motivated by metaphor, metonymy, or synecdoche. As the image of the radial model on the slide number 5 shows, from the prototype or primal meaning of a vocabulary item, another meaning could be generated. And there's a logical test to see whether a vocabulary item has an additional meaning different from the prototype. It is shown on the slide number 6. If an assertion involving a word can be both true and false of the same referent, then the word is polysemous. Okay, so here we have an example sentence. Lady is a dog, but she is not a dog. So the first dog means a common animal, and the second one means a male dog. Then the sentence is okay. So we can say the word dog has different meanings. Now, when we see previous studies on the English language, many or most of them are about basic or high-frequent vocabulary items. As typical studies on polysemy, this presentation introduces 5 different studies on slide 7 and 8. The point here is most of the previous studies have focused on semantic structure of high-frequency polysemous items, such as take, work, and word, a group of words for body and facial parts, and a comparison between English and other languages. As the chart shows, vocabulary items in the previous studies are frequently used, and they are ranked as either A or B. These numbers are the per million frequency from Word Banks Online. Frequency level is from Wisdom 4th edition. The next bar graph shows the same data in different format. This presentation focuses on the word snowflake. As you see, compared to other items in previous studies, frequency of this particular word is clearly low. In other words, as I said, oftentimes high-frequent polysemous words have been the focus of studies on semantic extension, and low-frequent items have not got enough attention. Now, when we see the meaning of the low-frequent word snowflake in major dictionaries like ELDOS or OALD, CALD, they just show the primal meaning, which is a piece of snow, as shown on the slide 12 and 13. Slide 12 is from Collins-Colville Advanced Learners Dictionary. There are not so many dictionaries that show the secondary meaning of snowflake, which is a small white flower. And I have not seen any dictionary showing the third meaning of the word. Let's see how the word snowflake is actually used in media these days. In this presentation, I introduce 2 examples from news programs. I present the first example on slide 14. Let's listen to it.
Why do you feel it's important to have this snowflake survey?
You know, I wanted to be able to have individuals work for my company who would sort of fit the culture, not just the culture of our company, but the culture of our clients too.
Another example is here on slide 15. Let's see what the speaker says.
So what do you think about the snowflakes saying, stop calling us snowflakes?
Then quit being snowflakes. You know, really, the problem with believing that you're special is that you will believe you deserve special treatment just because you're special.
As you notice, the word snowflake is used in a particular way, and existing dictionary meaning cannot properly capture this meaning of snowflake. As these examples indicate, speakers in these interviews or talk shows were not talking about a piece of snow or small white flowers. So I checked the polysemy of the word snowflake using some of the major corpora. Slide 16 is the chart based on word banks online, but let's focus on the next one from Corpus of Contemporary American English, or COCA. As you see the pie chart on slide 17, for some reason it contained lots of tokens for proper names, but it does have some tokens meaning personality or characteristics, both in positive and negative sense, in addition to the primary meaning, which is a piece of snow. Besides, it has to be mentioned, tokens describing snow crystal-shaped accessory or ornament is also observed. From slide 18 to 21, I present some examples how the word is used in different meanings in different contexts. On slide 18, the first one is the prototype or primary meaning. The second one is for plant or flower. On slide 19, the third examples are interesting, meaning about characteristics of a person or object in a positive sense. On slide 21, another example of snow crystal shape. This is used for a clothes design, I think. And the last one is the case of proper name. The line chart on the slide 22 shows the number of tokens of snowflake used for different meanings in recent years. Here, number 3, light green line, and number 4, orange line are the meanings for characteristics of a person or object. Well, I cannot say the positive meaning like precious person and the negative characteristics like vulnerable or unexperienced person is now more frequently used than the primary meaning. But at least it is safe to state that the word snowflake has been used for these two different meanings. And we often observe the word used for such meanings in English media. And of course, these meanings pass the logical test for polysemy I already mentioned on the slide number 6. Now, having seen the extended meanings of the word snowflake, I have to say the meanings in existing dictionaries do not properly represent how the word is used nowadays. Some dictionaries presented primary and secondary meanings, but I propose for this particular word snowflake, presenting 5 different meanings will help English learners, as shown on the slide number 23. With these proposed meanings, the examples on the following slides 24 and 25 from English newspaper will be correctly captured by dictionary users. I do not have enough time to read these articles in this presentation, but if you are interested in what each article is about, you can pause the clip and read articles and see how the word is used in each context. Or, if it's hard to read on the slide, you can take a look at the article through online journal, I think. Anyway, on slide 24, the article from Time magazine, September 2019, is presented. The next one, the slide 25, shows the article from Portsmouth News, September 2019. As the concluding statement, in this presentation I focused on polysemy of snowflake. I mentioned the previous studies on English polysemy and a bit of theoretical framework, radial model. Also, I showed you data from Corpora and some English news media. The idea of this investigation is not just about the single case of snowflake, but how we can use corpus to more precisely describe practical meanings of vocabulary items for English learners. If we can keep gaining our knowledge, word by word and phrase by phrase, as English teachers, students and English learners will surely appreciate such knowledge. That's time-consuming and challenging, yet meaningful task for us, I think. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.